Welcome, Crystal, to today's episode of the DTP Show. This is new. Nobody probably even knows what I'm talking about, DTP Show. So, real quick, let me just introduce what the DTP Show is, and then we will dive into our conversation today, which I'm so excited about. So, the DTP Show is really an opportunity for us to showcase and highlight. Let me get rid of my notifications. Okay. It's an opportunity for us to showcase and highlight the journeys and, all of it's not just about wins, it's about everything that our designers in DTP have been able to overcome, what they've been able to achieve because of the work that they've done inside of Design to Profit. So this show is all about our students, all about our alumni. We want other designers to know what is possible, and that's what this show is about. So, Crystal, girl, listen. you you've been in my space for about 2.5 years now. So what I want to do is your interview is going to be a little bit different than everyone else's because you've been rocking with me for so long, and there's more to your transformation than just the 12 months that you spent inside of DTP. So let you talk. I'm not going to talk the whole time. So I first want to have you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you, what you do, where you're from, all that good jazz.
All right. Hi, y'all. Hey, Amber. I'm so excited to be here and just chit chat with you. It's wild. When you said 2.5 years, I was like, what? It's crazy. My name is Crystal Portorial, and I am a DTP alum. I'm now a DTP success coach as well. And I also own a brand and website design agency in Charleston, South Carolina. And I'm sure we're going to dive into all how Amber has helped me grow that and just how I've, developed so much while I've been in Amber's space. So I'm excited to be here and chit chat.
Love it, love it. I know it's so wild that it's been 2.5 years. So let's kind of take it back, and we'll go a little quickly because we've done an interview with you before. A lot of people know who you are, so I don't want to go too much into what we've already covered, but I do want them to know you first came into contact with me under another program. I was doing a collaboration with someone. You came to a webinar, and I think at that point you had never invested in your business, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I had never invested in my business in terms of like learning anything in my business. I have been winging it up to
Winging it.
that point.
That's what we do. Okay, so you came into contact with me. I know you had a really strong opinion about coaches, about programs, about mindset, all of that. So I just want people to know before we dive into all the amazingness you've been able to do, I want them to kind of get an idea of where you were coming from, because that's huge, right? That's huge in knowing what this full transformation looks like.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, I had to y'all. I was one of those people that was like, if somebody said mindset, I was out of there. I thought that when it came to business, I needed you to be telling me about business, and that was it. Okay. And what changed for me is when I saw Amber on that webinar that she was talking about earlier. She infused mindset with business in a way that I had never heard before. It was like, your mind has to be right in order for me to teach you the principles that you need to learn in business. And so the way that she was talking about that really was like it a light bulb came on for me to where I was like, oh, these things are intertwined, and I actually do need someone to help me with that piece of it as well as the business piece of it. And so all of that mindset, all of those attitudes that I had towards mindset about it being fluff, really went out of the window when I joined your program. And that is, quite honestly, that piece is one of the pieces that has stuck with me and allowed me to continue to accelerate through different levels, is that mind piece as well.
Ooh, so the mindset piece. Okay. And you are attributing the mindset being the key to allowing you to go from, you know, mindset was non-existent to where you are now. So let's just give the people some insight. Where were you pre DTP and where are you now? Just so they can get that visual of, you know, all that
Yeah.
you have accomplished, because it's been so much.
It's been a lot. I'm like, "Ooh, where do I start?" Okay, so prior to DTP, I was working. I really didn't have. I wouldn't even call it a business. I was doing graphic design and website design, but I really didn't have any structure, so I really wouldn't even call it a business. I was just kind of winging it. Like I said, I was kind of sometimes I was earning $1,000 a month. Sometimes I was earning nothing. That type of a thing. And I've accelerated to having a business, working with a team, making multiple figures in my business. And then on top of that, also, I'm in a better place personally as well, because I was emotionally a hot mess because and all of that was seeping into my business. And so my emotional state and all of that has gone to a whole new level as well. I see the world differently since joining.
That is huge. I see the world differently. And like, with DTP, yes, we are for brand and website designers. Yes, we help you with your business. Yes, process. Yes, pricing, packages, all the things. But what is most impactful is the mindset stuff, is the foundational stuff. I love that so much. And we pride ourselves in making sure that the mindset does set you up for your life. So I kind of
Yeah.
want to talk about that a little bit, because I know, we start our businesses to have free time, to have flexibility, but then we create the exact opposite. So
Yeah.
I want to dig more into like what you've been able to do personally, like within yourself. Like, can you give us some more insight on just that personal elevation that you've been able to create because of the mindset work that you did? Or like, that's the first thing we do in the program. So
Yeah.
yeah, tell me more.
Yes, so it's actually funny that you said that's the first thing we do in the program because that's what I was thinking as soon as you said that. Because I remember one of the exercises where we kind of go into like projecting our numbers,
Hmm.
and you were right away like on one of the videos you were like, just bear with me, because I need you to have some belief here.
Hmm.
And that's one word that actually comes up for me when I think about the mindset piece is just that ability to believe that it can happen that you insert into us at the very beginning of the program when we have to do that exercise. Because I remember doing that exercise and thinking, this is wild. And I hit that number by the end of that year, like 6 months later. And a number that I thought was absolutely crazy. So I think
Hold
one
on,
of the,
a number that I had you multiply by 3. So
yeah,
there was a scary number, and then we multiplied it by 3, and you
yeah,
hit that number that we
that
multiplied
by
by 3. That you were like, I don't know what this girl is thinking, telling me to multiply by 3. Like, what? It's unbelievable.
yeah.
So, yes, sorry. I just had to put that little tidbit out there because
Isn't that crazy?
it wasn't a little bit out of your comfort zone. It was like 3 times out of your comfort zone, but you still
Yeah.
did it.
And you know what, Amber? I used to tell myself before I joined the program, and just for years while I had my business, I used to tell myself, if I could just make 30,000, then I would be fine. I just want to make 30,000 a year. And I didn't realize that I was repeating for myself like a limiter.
Mhm.
I was placing such a tight limit on myself for years. And so when I came into the program, and realized, first of all, I had seen your testimony on what you had done for yourself, which this whole framework is based on what you did for yourself. And so I had seen that. But then on top of that, when you opened my mind to like, this is a number that you could hit, it released something for me, like mentally, spiritually, everything, to where I was like, okay, this is possible, and being able to actually like believe what's possible was the very first step towards me actually, making that happen and manifesting that. So,
Believing it, believing it, believing it. It's like that's the simplest thing, but it's literally the hardest thing. And I remember you had mentioned on another interview that we did, and it hit so many people. Like, I like to say throat punch because get you right in the throat. Where you were like, I would increase my prices, but I didn't actually charge them. Let's talk a little bit about that. So like that does something to you to know like I'm going to go into this conversation, this is my price, and then to say your old price. Like tell me take me back to like how you felt when that was how you were running your business.
oh my God, it was literally like disappointment in yourself after every single call.
Mm,
And that is like one of the worst things, to go to bed at night and be disappointed in yourself
yeah.
and think, why couldn't I just bring myself to say these prices? But literally, I remember before like getting on the phone, which I didn't used to do Zoom, I would just jump on the call. If somebody would text me, then we would just get on a call. And so I remember getting on calls and being on there and literally feeling like I was shaking in my boots. I
Mm,
would be scared to say this price. And I had people that if they were this, and I was charging $500, they would, I could tell they were surprised by that. And, a lot of them would just pay the 500 in full, but I still didn't believe that I could go higher than that. So I never did. But it really was a disappointing thing. And I think that for me, what changed was that, first of all, I started to see my value. And with all of the things that you teach us in the program, I started to see like, I am giving someone something that is extremely valuable. And so it was me changing the view about myself and realizing that I bring value. And then I was able to say, I'm going to get on here, and this is not a price. I'm not just throwing this price out here. I'm going to get on here and tell them what value that I bring. And so, because I was able to do that, yeah, I started spitting out them prices like no other. And people don't bat an eye. When I don't bat an eye, other people don't bat an eye. So,
exactly. And it circles back to that belief. You believed that you were worth this number. The value that you brought to the table was worth this number. Therefore, you have no problem saying it. And when you don't
yes.
flinch and when you are confident in your price, so are they. It all you said it so well. You were like you were looking outward, right? When I make the $30,000, I'll feel a certain way. When I do this, I'll feel a certain way. And that's what we do. We try to change the outward, like the external situation, but really the issue is within us. And when we have those patterns show up, I raised my price, but I didn't charge it. Okay, I'm going to do it on the next call. Didn't do it. I'm going to do it on the next call. So those patterns are really fueled by our own beliefs, what we believe is
Yes.
possible. And until we change what is on the inside, what we believe, and we have to be good with ourselves until you can get to that point. There is no course, no program, no process, no package, no nothing that is going to help you. Nothing, because it is all, your happiness is 100% dependent on you, not the client
Mhm.
that you get, not the amount that you charge, none of that. And I can attest to that as well. Like hitting multiple goals, but still not feeling fulfilled. And you have to look inward to really start to create the level of change that you want to. And I 100% believe that's why you accelerated the way that you did, was because you no longer were looking exterior on the outside for validation. You knew you had that internal confirmation, and that's all that was needed. It's beautiful.
Oh God, it's so good. That's so good, because I feel like so many people, even just now being a coach now in the program, I see a lot of people that come in comparison, their number one issue,
Yeah.
because they are looking at what everyone else is doing, and it's like it's in here.
Yeah.
Until you fix what's inside, nothing else is going to change. I love that you said that you can go to different programs and all of that, And nothing is going to change until you fix what's in here and realize that the mindset piece and the belief and all of that is not fluff. It is the key.
And you know something also too, it's a level of self-responsibility. Well, I learned this from one of my coaches. And this was kind of the start of me understanding mindset. And his example was, if you are, if you're driving around and someone cuts you off, you have the choice to be mad all day about it, or you can look at that situation and be like, well, what could I have done differently? Like, maybe I
Yeah.
didn't see them. We always, again, we look outward to blame when we also need to look inward, and we go to, like, I see so much. I did this program, did that program, and it doesn't work. It didn't work. But what did you do? Because I have seen this, that people will come to our program, some of our programs,
Yep.
and they've gone to other programs that didn't work. But it wasn't really the program, it was the action, it was the belief, it was the internal stuff. Like, that part. So, like, it's not fluff. It's crucial. It is the key to your success. The mindset, the internal belief, the self-talk, like, all of that is so important.
Yeah, because you can't execute strategy if you don't have a belief in it. If you don't believe that this strategy is actually, because if you say, I don't believe I can make $100,000, then you're saying the strategy that I'm telling you, you don't believe
Yep.
really deep down that that's going to work because you don't even believe that you can make $100,000
Mhm.
deep down. And so whatever you try to make that $100,000, it's not going to work because you don't
Nothing will
believe it.
work. Nothing will work. That's why the programs don't work. That's why the templates don't work. That's why the blueprint don't work. It's because you
Yeah.
don't believe that it will. And while it sounds so easy to change that, oh, just let me change my beliefs, it really is a lot of work that goes into making that happen. And that's where we start in DTP, so that we're giving you the tools to deal with the crap that you're bringing into your business. As
Mm.
individuals, people, human, we are bringing baggage into our business. And as soon as you come into DTP, we handle the baggage so that it can stop weighing you down. Like, it's literally weights that are keeping you stuck where you are. And that's where we
Yeah.
start.
I think that's what makes you so amazing as a coach too, because you have to be careful who you're letting pour into you
Mm,
and what and all of that. But I think what makes you amazing as a coach is that if you see that there's a mindset issue, you're not going to keep pushing the strategy.
yeah,
It's like, let's stop because I'm recognizing a limiting belief here that's behind everything that you're saying. So let's stop, get that together, and I'm going to give you the strategy. But you need to do this first. And I think that that's why some of the programs that people get into as well are not working because people just want to push strategy
yeah,
and they want to push the how to kind of thing and how to do this and how to do that. But at the end of the day, if you're pushing that on your students and your students are suffering from all kinds of limiting beliefs, then it's not going to work. So I think that it's nice to get into a program and to get come in contact with a coach that has a healthy balance of those two things.
mhm,
So,
yeah. And speaking of coaching, you are one of our success coaches in DTP, and you are a phenomenal coach, Crystal. Like, your responses, your answers, the feedback that you provide is always so thorough and thoughtful, while also being sensitive and mindful to what the student is going through, right? So, can you share with me? I'm interested. Like, I don't think we've ever had this conversation, actually. Um, like, what was that kind of transition like for you, going from being a DTP student to becoming a coach within the program? Um, just kind of, I want to hear. We never talked about that. Like,
okay.
so yeah, I'm very interested.
Well, it's interesting because the first of all, the environment that you've created is always one where you feel like you never feel like you're up here as a coach and we're down here learning from you. It always feels very intertwined, and that you're like a friend trying to help us out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it didn't feel super crazy to go from being in the program to being a coach. But also, I've said this before in other interviews, when I go into a program, I take it seriously. So I want to learn the material as best as I can, the material, and learn how to apply that material. And so for me, turning around and then teaching it to people or responding to people how Amber would respond, or infusing your the environment that you've curated into the responses and things wasn't super difficult, because like this stuff is ingrained in my brain now. It's
Yes.
not the principles that you've taught in DTP didn't just I just studied them in order to learn this strategy, and I did the strategy and then I just dumped them out of my mind.
Right.
These I recognized right away that the principles you were teaching in DTP were like principles that I was going to apply to every single thing that I'm doing in my life, in my business. And if I start another business, I'm going to use these same things. Like I recognize that right away. And so it's been very easy for me to step into that role of helping other people do that too.
I love it. And it really is a natural progression. And a lot of our students end up coaching their clients. So you're right. You're right. Just the approach that we take with how we coach. It's never do this. It's here's what I would do. Here's why, and then you're able to make your own decision. But
Yeah.
it's just I've loved watching you just transition from coming in, you know, 2.5 years ago, where it's like, mindset, I don't know. And then just to see you just make so much progress and then be able to coach the students as well on what you've learned, but also with your own perspective, having gone through the program. I think that that's just so beautiful, the evolution of it. And that really is part of the beauty of Design to Profit, is that everything that you're learning as you're going through, it is applicable to your business. It's applicable to your life, but it's also applicable to helping your clients in their business and in their life. So really, like, the amount of ways you're able to kind of recoup the investment on this is it's so wild. Like, this
Yeah.
program, I
I
used to call it
love
twofold, but it's more than that.
I love that one of like your approach with has is always centered around what is the transformation that we can get for the client. That I feel like is so different than so many other
Mm,
programs. So many programs are like, I'm gonna help you grow your business. I'm gonna help you make 10K or 100K. I'm gonna help you in your business, and that's great.
yeah.
But I love how DTP really is. What impact are you gonna create? And what transformation are you going to create for the people that you're actually serving?
Yeah.
And that is where true growth comes in. So I think that's why a lot of the students in DTP do so well, is because they are focused on how to create that transformation for their clients versus just saying, how am I going to grow my own business?
Yeah. Oh, that's such a great perspective. And it's so wild because I was on another interview with another student, and she helped me like see I don't see everything, right? So just having that perspective is helpful. And her perspective was, I was like, I'm not going to do the work for you. And she was like, well, Amber, on the coaching calls, like, you are quick to pull out a Google Doc and we will do it together. I'm like, you're right. So just
And
even
Bill.
like just hearing from you, it just even still opens my eyes up to just how we are different and how we are strategically creating growth for our designers. Yes, it's about them, but it's also equally, if not more so, about the client that they're working with. But I think we've just found a holistic way to make all of it work together without it being confusing or complicated, because it's like
Yeah.
that's all we know is like it's so hard, it's so confusing, it's so complicated. But I like to take that out. I like to, like, let's do it simple. Simplify it.
Let's make it clear, right?
Yes.
What
Yeah.
I love about this program too is that it is there's step it's a step by step thing. You know what I mean? Not only just the modules and the material and all of that stuff is great, but also having the coaching calls and you talking to people and pulling out the Google Docs and
Mhm.
all of those things and just making things crystal clear to where there doesn't have to be any confusion.
Yeah.
You're not lost in a sea of other, people that are in the program and you're not getting your questions answered and all of those things. It's like everything is crystal clear that if you do the work, mindset included, mindset and strategy and all of those things. If you do the work, you will be successful. It's like to me, I feel like it's fail proof, really.
That is literally my goal. If you come into DTP, my goal is for you to win. Like, and I will do everything short of doing it for you to help you win. Like, because if my students aren't winning, I'm not winning. Like, I can't sell the program if my students aren't getting results. So it is very important,
Right,
that the students do get results. Otherwise, what are we doing? Like, this doesn't make it.
right.
Um, so yeah, this has been so good. I always love our conversations, Crystal. I think we could like really do these every week and never run out of anything to say.
I know it's wild. I love it, girl. I cannot. I'm still like thinking about this 2.5 years.
I
Like,
know. You done wrote a book. You're a published author, a top-selling Amazon seller, right? You have an agency now, multiple six-figure business. You're speaking at events. You are a coach in my program. Just that is so much that has happened in just 2.5 years.
yeah. Yeah, it's wild. The acceleration has been wild, girl. And literally to think that like just starting in this space where I started and the mindset that I had starting in this space and thinking about everything that's happened now, it just still blows my mind to be honest. And the reason that it blows my mind too is because I know that there's more to come. Because hey, because now I plan things out, but I know that there's more to come, and I know that I'll be able to accomplish those things and still be able to go back to the principles that I learned in DTP and apply those to everything else that I will continue to do. So again, it's not like learning something and then dumping it. It's like literally learning something that's gonna grow.
Yeah.
So
So something you said, like, okay, with DTP and like everything that I have done, I've been able to create. I used to be fearful of losing everything. Like, what if,
mhm.
I would get to a certain, like, this was a real fear of mine, especially as I was bringing my husband on. He was transitioning out of the army into the business full time. The year
Yeah.
leading up to that, actually, that's the year that you came into contact with me. I was
Yep.
terrified, terrified, terrified that I would get to a certain level. And, with our business being the only source, like that's how we live in our household. I was terrified that I would lose it, but I did some work, y'all. I did the deep work, and what I realized is because of the foundation that I have built, the framework that I have inside of Design to Profit, I know I can go from 0 to 100K quickly within a matter of 3 months. I can repeat this stuff. That's the beauty of it. If like it empowers you so much that literally you could start from scratch with a new business, or you could lose everything and be able to rebuild it again because of the framework that is in place. And I did
Mhm.
that. Like I've said this before. I lost $50,000 over some. I was spending money and not putting it back in, but I didn't freak out. Like old me would have been like, "What the actual f? Let me go get some. Let me go get some people, some clients, something." But I didn't freak
Right.
out because I'm like, okay, if I could make it once, I can do it again, and that changes.
Mhm.
that changes your approach for everything, because you're approaching it from a place where of that belief, right? Not fear anymore. And I wanted to share something
Yeah,
with you. I wrote it on a sticky note just today, actually. I was funny. I was watching, I have, of course, I'm in programs myself. I was watching a module. It's all about mindset, manifestation. So I work on this stuff consistently. But
I love it.
said, something that she said, and this is directly related to what you said, where you're like, your mind is blown, but you know there's still so much that you can do and accomplish. So she says, there's so much out there for you, and you wait a minute, I can't read my handwriting. There's so much out there for you, and you've barely just scratched the surface. Like, everything that you
Mhm.
have accomplished already, you've just scratched the surface, because literally everything is possible for you. There's so much more. Even though, like, and I think about this myself, like, I'm living my dream life. This is the life that I have dreamt of, right? But even still, there's so much more available. There's so much more that is possible if I want it, if you want it. It's just, again, that belief in yourself that it is possible. So I love that.
Yeah. Girl, it's only been 2 years. When I think about the fact that I was in business for 6 years and doing it messed up, right? Not doing it the right way,
Yeah.
thinking about continuing on this way for another 4 years, like it's just crazy to think about. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
And
only been 2 years. Like, it's just beginning.
it's so wild too, because, like, in those 6 years, and even in my own, my own DTP, because me going through DTP was creating it, but
Yeah.
but even still, like, um just like those 6 years and what you've been able to do in two, like, just imagine. And I think
It's
about that.
like exponential growth.
Yes,
It's like boom.
it's so wild. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I kind of lost my train of thought. But the point was, when you were in those 6 years, I know, the 6 years, you were doing all the things, and it was chaotic, and it was busy and crazy, and a chicken with his head cut off. But
Yeah.
over the last 2 years, things are structured, things are systemized. You're working, like, I know I personally am working less now that I'm making more money. It's
Yep.
so wild. It's like the total opposite of what I thought I was going to be doing. Because that's how we're taught. Like, you got to hustle, you got to work around. The more you work, the more money you'll make. That is not true. That is
It
not
ain't.
true. Not at all. Not at all. Listen. Yeah, it's
That's
just
because
so
I
wild.
don't value time, and
Mm.
I started to realize that time is money. It costs me more an hour to be sitting up here hustling and trying to do all of these things, but, so now I have people that are helping with that, but you can't have people helping you with that if you don't have systems and structure and a
The business
process and a
stuff.
framework and all right. If you don't have all of that, which was something else, you learn in DTP,
Yeah.
but I feel like this, like you were saying, how having that framework allows you to know that you can go from 0 to 100 in 3 months or whatever the case may be. Like I know that it's given me confidence. It's given me confidence in myself and in my business because I do now know that I can do that. I know that I never have to go backwards to I don't know how I'm gonna make any money this month, or I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Like it gives me choices.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much, because when you are in that hectic, I got to get a client hamster wheel, you have no choices. Everybody is a yes. Oh, you need something? Okay. Oh, your money's green? Let's go. Like, that was my motto for the longest. That is, you have choices. Oh my God, that is so powerful.
Like
And
having the ability to say no to a client and having the ability to create boundaries around what I want to say no to and what I want to say yes to has definitely changed my life, not just my business, but it has freed up so much of my time and helped me grow as a person because I now have that choice. Like if I don't want to do something, I don't do it. period. And it's nice to be able to have that choice in my business that I didn't have for so many years. Like I would be hating life. Like I know so many designers are out here listening that go through this where you
Yeah.
are literally every hating to wake up and work for the clients that you are working for because you don't have any choices.
Yep. Yep. Listen,
And
I just
so,
recorded
yeah.
a reel about that. Waking up hating doing the work. It's like, because I'm going to I have a live after this on Instagram. I'm going to be talking about discounting your prices in sales. And what happened, I'm not going to go too much into it because I'm going to go in on this live.
Oh, I already know you about to go in.
But like, you do start to dread your work. You start to dread your business. You start to dread getting up in the morning because of the clients that you're working with. And if that's the case, you might as well keep that 9 to 5 job that you hate, because at least at 5 o'clock you checking out and you off on the weekends and you have a consistent paycheck. So
That part. Girl, I had people texting me all hours of the night doing all of this. And I'm thinking, why in the world? I didn't get out of the military to then have all of these obligations 24/7. You know how they say in the military, you're on duty 24/7.
oh, I know.
I got out of that, right? And so it's like, why in the world would you get out of something like that to go into working for yourself and doing the same thing? And I would be running around and feeling like I was busy, just, oh, you're busy all the time, and feeling like I had a business because I was busy. And
Hmm.
it's like, no, sis, you're just busy, but really you don't have a business.
Yeah.
Um, and your life is in shambles.
Ugh.
Okay.
And all you can think about is your business. Like, it's all consuming. Every waking moment is your business. And
Yeah.
you think like that's the key, right? Like, if
Yeah.
that's all I focus on, if I want my business to grow, that's all I do. I can't do anything else. But it really is having, you have to have balance in your life. You have to have some kind of personal life, or you're gonna burn out. You're gonna be resentful. Like, every Saturday is my veg day. I don't do anything. I lay in the bed all day because that's what I want to do. And I like to have that for myself. It rejuvenates me.
Yeah.
And it allows me to show up for my clients that come Monday. But then also Sunday,
Yes.
I'm refreshed and I can plan for the week. But for the longest, I would work. If I was awake, I was working. And
Yeah.
that was all I knew. That hustle mindset, that hustle mentality, but that's not the ticket, y'all. That is not the way.
Yeah.
That's not the way to build your business, to create something that is sustainable, that will, you know, actually work for you instead of against you, because that's where my business was for sure.
Yep. Absolutely. Same.
Yeah. Whew. Listen, I already said it. We could go on and on and on and on and on and on. But I'm gonna go ahead. Let's go ahead and wrap it up here. I always love having you come on. Just your perspective, your journey, all of that. I appreciate you sharing that with us. I appreciate everything you do for our community, for our students. Love you, Coach Crystal. Let us know. Let the people know where they can find you if they want to just say hello. If they were inspired by your story, because I know it's so inspiring to me. So definitely let us know where they can find you.
Absolutely. So the best way to find me is on Instagram. You can follow me at Mrs. Crystal K. That's MRS and then KRYSTALKAYE. My DMs are open. So if you have any questions about DTP or just about, business, whatever, feel free to hit me up there, or click the link in the bio and connect with me like that. But
Yeah.
I'm excited, Amber, and I just got to give you your flowers. I know this is not planned, but I just want you to know that I appreciate you, not only what you've given me and the principles that you've given me in DTP, but also I appreciate you seeing me
Mm,
and actually saying, hey, do you want to be a coach? I see that you're doing well. You've picked these things up and asking me to be a coach. That has meant the world to me. And it's just a testament of your character and the type of person that you are. And so I appreciate that. And I want you to just know that I love you, girl.
I love you. Listen, y'all know, and I know you're emo too, so we're not gonna cry.
Yes.
We will save those for our coaching calls. For the group. That's for the group only. But yes, this, like, I really could not have envisioned. Like, this is so much more than I ever thought that it would be. The community, the culture that we've created, I just love it so much. I love each of my students so much. I just appreciate, what you bring to the table. And it wouldn't, like, I really think, like, you're as much a part of the program as I am as a coach. You bring so much value to the table, and I am so appreciative of that. Our students love you. I love you. And if you're watching, I know you love Crystal now too, so go say hey to her. But again, as always, I appreciate you, and I will see you on our next one, because I know there will be another one, because I know you're gonna,
Absolutely.
like, the $1 million is coming. I see it on your wall,
Okay.
like, it's coming. So we gonna have an update when we hit that, but we know it's coming. All right, Crystal, thank you so much, and we will see y'all on the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Okay.